Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall buildings as the chemicals that take us higher. The night's young and it's just begun as she puts her hand in mine. We wanna chase the night, more distance to the light. Pulls down the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop. Every shot the top, we're gonna be two hearts running wild.
Hello. It's Wednesday afternoon. It's about 2:45 p.m. here in the Netherlands. So yes, 2:45 Wednesday afternoon. Haven't been around for a bit because, well, life has been catching up with me, so to say. I have, of course, posted my videos, but I had a little crash accident last week, and that kind of took on a bit on my body as well. And I still have some nasty blue marks and bruisings, which yeah, that's how it is. That's how things are. Anyhow, I am here to progress a bit on my shawl. I've been catching up on the pattern. I still need to do another 2 repeats before something is changing. We will be changing the camera angle so that you can easily see what I'm doing. And I thought maybe, I don't know, but maybe you guys wanted to hang out with me when I was crocheting a bit. At least I wanted to hang out with you guys. Also, of course, I have my tea here because, yeah, it's just nice, a cozy tea. It is really autumn weather here today. It's been snowing, it's been raining, and it's been snowing. The snow doesn't lay around, but it is also a bit dark outside, so I am trying to at least keep some light. Might need to add a little bit. So that's basically what's been going on. Yeah, I've been crocheting a bit for sure. Um, and there are a few other plans, so I need to keep track of those as well. But right now, I just felt like crocheting a bit for 1 to 2 hours at best. And I thought I wanted to hang out with you guys. So if you're joining the stream, hello, and thank you if you're rewatching it. I am here with my faithful mug of tea. Today it is the loose tea blend, a loose dye yielding tea blend, which I normally pick up in Germany. I was in Germany last week, not last week, a few weeks ago. And of course, I forgot actually to pick it up. So I have an excuse to go back within reasonable time. I forgot a few other things also when I was there, but that just happens, I guess. I should be better at writing a note for myself as to what to bring. I do have the feeling I did double sugar in that tea. It's sweet. Okay. So, just for good order's sake, to prevent you guys becoming dizzy, I'm just shortly going to put you in a different view while I adjust this camera for you to be able to see what I'm actually doing. So do hang on for a minute. You're just going to have the thumbnail temporary while I fix these camera settings. And we are back. 4.5mm crochet hook. This is the shawl that I'm working on. It's just a bunch of half double crochet with some puff stitches here along the edge. Using this absolutely gorgeous yarn I'm having in my project crate because trying to keep track on it like that. I'm working from the center. We are heading towards this more like tealish color. This teal color comes reasonably close to the thumbnail, I would say. The thumbnail is a tiny bit more blue in it. I do have the feeling that this color it's more teal in real life than it shows on the screen right now. So it's a little bit more fresh in color. But yeah, I'm having that in from side to side here. And it does seem that we do have some connection issues. Just a minute. Do not tell me. Oh, I hope we're back. I do hope we're back. We should be back. I do apologize if you just experienced me popping out. The cable was loose, therefore my internet popped for a minute. So I'm not sure if you lost anything, but if you did, I do apologize. I said we are working in the row here, and it's increasing it in the length. And this end, I increase by 2, or well, by 1 every row. And here I do no increases. I need to do a row now where the next row I will have to do a half double. And then we do the 3 puff stitches here. And then we proceed with a bunch of half doubles all the way to the end and then all the way back. And then the next row is going to be a bunch of puff stitches. I'm not really sure why I thought this shawl was a great idea, but that was because I thought it looked gorgeous, and that was before I realized it had quite a bit of puff stitches towards the end. Anyhow, 4.5mm crochet hook is what I'm using for this, and I am working in the cake I'm working from is the Yana Flowers Alpaca, or Alpaca Flowers. Flowers Alpaca, it's named. And it's the same as Hobby's Wheel of Alpaca. I did link to this project in the description box down below where you can get the pattern as well as suggestions. Each row starts with a single crochet, and then you do a half double. Then I will have to skip 2 stitches and start working in these bubbles. So that is what I will be doing right here, right now. And it is a bit of counting, but that's all right. I have the feeling I almost... it's not through here. Okay, we'll redo that one. Because apparently some yarn slipped. And 4. Then we pull through a bunch of loops. and then we skip the last 2 to yarn over and pull through the remaining loops, which is all right. So I know it was a little bit spontaneous and no warning for my live here, so I do hope we will have a few people popping in. I see that Hele is here, so that is nice. I hope she's doing well today. And yeah, I hope a few others will pop in and say hello. And as mentioned earlier, if you're rewatching the stream, that's awesome. Thank you for doing so. That is supporting me. Also, if you haven't done it yet, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, because again, that is supporting me. Plus, if you then also hit the notification button, you get notified whenever I do post new videos. And there are more videos coming up, because on Friday I will be back with my regular yarn talk video. I've done great progress on some projects. I even finished one, which I need to block, but I haven't done that yet because I will have to get down on my knees to do so. And I hurt myself pretty badly last week because I crashed with my bike. I was driving home. I had been at the physio and I did some groceries on the way home, and I slid out with the bike. There was probably 1 or 2 wet leaves on top of a wet surface, which was the biking path. And I simply lost balance or slid out and I crashed, and I hit the asphalt pretty hard with my knees, which obviously caused me to get some pretty nasty bruisings on my knees. That was rather painful. So therefore, certain things right now I am not inclined to do as quickly until my knees have healed a bit. They are, so to say, rather blue and purple and yellow and all sorts of colors due to this accident. Tomorrow, that's gonna be like a week ago. Yeah. So I wanted to get it blocked, but I didn't yet, simply because of that. I also have another project I want to block, because then I can start working on finishing up. So that's also pending. And then, of course, I want to start a new project, but that's how it often is. I did go to the city center yesterday. Not to the city center, actually. I went to it's a shopping mall with my in-laws, because they are improving the power grid here in the area. And while they're improving the power grid, they sometimes have to power off the power in the house. And since it's winter, it is getting darker, especially if it's a rainy day like today. So I didn't want to be home for when the power was out, because the power could be out for up to 6 hours. So we went to the shopping mall to just do a bit of shopping and hang out. So we did so, and I also got by one of the stores where I get some of the yarns, because I was almost out of yarn. So if you did watch my yarn talk video from last week, you would see that I had almost finished the hat, but I'm missing basically maybe like 1 or 2 rounds. And I didn't think I would have enough yarn. Actually, I think I would just about run out of yarn, and therefore I had to get an extra skein. I went to the store that carries the brand, and I was lucky enough to get a skein. So there's that. And yeah. So we have to look into that as well on Friday's Yarn Talk video. And I also made a new hobby order, because there was a sale and there was a few other things that I wanted to get. Because I got some twister cakes, which I have an idea for, but I'm not sure if the gradient of red that I bought to go with it is the right one. So I made a new order to obtain a different gradient. Of course, The last gradient available is no longer on sale, so I will have to wait for that to happen until I can consider purchasing that. Until then, I will be patient and wait. So maybe, likely, it was the last hobby order for a while until the solid twister goes back on sale. Unless, of course, I think that the gradient I just bought is perfect. Time will show. So right now it is straightforward. I am just doing half double crochets all the way past through on this shawl. Hello, Yarning for a Smile. Good morning to you. I hope you are having an absolutely wonderful day, or a wonderful morning, I should say. Here it's afternoon. It's been snowing early morning, and then it was raining a bit, and then it was snowing a bit, and now it's just grey. But the snow has left, so it's above freezing. But it has been snowing a little bit here in the Netherlands today. So you can really say that the winter is kind of here, even though that November is supposed to be an autumn month. Hello, Suzanne. Wonderful to see you. Good morning to you. If you just checked in, I am here working on the Aranel Shawl. This is my working crate of yarn that we are working towards. It's similar to Hobby's Wheel of Alpaca, and I am working on the second last row. This is where we have to go to. We have to turn around and so. And then we are having to go to start making a bunch of these bubbles. And yeah, I don't know why I got that idea. The first like 144 rows are pretty similar. They are like a 2-row repeat. And then it's a bunch of bubble stitches. Until then, it was just a few. So I thought, oh, it's not going to be too bad. And then I realized I actually have to do like 7 rows of bubble stitches, full rows of bubble stitches. So I will be a bubble stitch master after this shawl. Every time I work them up, I'm like, I should not do that for until next time. And then I see this new pretty design I want to make. That sounds pretty much like me, because it is 100% me to do so. So, are you just hanging out with me this morning, or are you also working on something while we are hanging out together, or what's going on? For me, as I said, it's just plain, it's pretty mindless actually, because it's half double crochets. But mindless sometimes does it. I need to consider what project this. I had yarn split, so we'll redo that stitch. I need to consider what projects I would like to start working on, because I feel like starting something new. But I also wanted to design something as to wear. My question to myself was, how would I like to do the handles? Because I want to design a bag, like a shopper bag, project bag, shopper bag, market, not completely market bag, but kinda ish open bag concept. And I have a great idea, but I'm not 100% sure how to finish off the handles. I want to have it like a 2-handle system, so that you have a handle on each side, and it's gonna be a bit like an oval one. But I need to contemplate how I exactly want to make those handles. I can be simple and just make a chain and then single crochet into those chains and keep it like that. That's one option for sure. Then slip stitch around the edges once done. I'm thinking a bit, but I'm definitely working on a design of some kind. my mind is always thinking on ideas on how to do things. Can't help it. So, which I'm probably not the only one to do. But yeah, so do please tell me if you're working on something right now, or if you have questions for me, or if you have topics we should discuss. I am here for at least another hour. I'm pretending to be having plenty of time. I do have a few things I need to do later, such as cooking dinner, because as my partner will be hardly quite disappointed. Because I'm currently not in a position where I'm having a job. Honestly, we can talk about a bit about the job situation here. Right now, it is not how can I say, it's not the best situation. So I am unemployed because the project I worked on shut down and they moved all activities to Romania because it's cheaper. And then I started to have to spend all my vacation, which I did, and then I was kind of technically unemployed. This Monday, I shipped my working station back, and I am now just waiting on getting the last payments from them for basically agreeing to become unemployed. You get like a signing bonus and stuff like that because I signed that they were allowed to, or agreed with them to fire me, so to say, because they had no other functions for me. And that also kind of ensured my rights for unemployment payments. So I am currently in the system of unemployed people, and I have to do X applications and so on. I have done my quota for November. And I have to say, I've been looking at jobs, and there isn't really many interesting ones right now available. And those that are available either have expectations or requirements for the employee, like you have to work in weekends or work on holidays and so on. And since my partner never works on weekends or holidays, generally, at least for his real boss, I don't want to either, because why would I want to work when I have the opportunity to spend time with my partner? That doesn't make sense. Um, and therefore, I want like a regular office hours job, right? Fair enough. I want to see my partner when he's available too. Or it's paying less than what I used to get per hour. And for those money, I basically, like, why would I work 40 hours a week when I, for the employment benefits, can get about the same paid out for just applying to jobs? So that's kind of how it's working. Oh, yes. Yeah. I did mention Stanley Black Fridays yesterday at Amanda's live stream. I do have a big stash of Stanley, and so far my plans and intentions is not to shop Stanley ons, else my life can prevent it, because I do need to consider what to spend my money on. I do have some payments coming in, and I do have an income the next 3 months. But after those 3 months, the next thing is, one thing is that I also don't want to do what I used to do if I can prevent it. I need to do something where I have a little bit more flexibility, where I'm not chained to the computer in the same way, because honestly, my old job was quite unhealthy for me. I feel how I like muscle strength decreased because I became quite inactive, um, and other things. Like, it's just I need to do something else. Not sure what yet. And for now, I'm just, doing my best. And I am looking for jobs. I just want something else, something I guess better would be a first way of saying things. And we will see where that leads me. There was also another job that could have been okay. It was the only part-time, and if I do get a part-time job now, then I will lose all my employment benefits, which basically means that I will get paid even less, which is also not interesting, at least not until my unemployment benefits runs out. So that's a short version. And because obviously finances are a little bit limited, I am trying to shop a bit less. That would be the short version of it. I do have one order coming in for stuff I need. And I do have one order I need to make because I'm short of yarn to kind of finish it. I think I do want to add it, and they are actually on sale right now, and it's not yarns that's typically on sale. So, and then from there on, I would have a yarn ban until the Hobby Twister Solid goes on sale again, because they do have one color I would like to add to my collection. Because I'm not sure which of the accent colors I will be using for a shawl I want to make. And that's pretty much it. So that's my rules. And then from here on out, it's I have to sell items before I can buy new yarn, or I have to sell yarn. That's also kind of, I guess, okay. Like I need to go through my stash because I do have a lot of yarn in my stash, and it takes up a bunch of space actually. So that's kind of where I'm heading. And window shopping is definitely okay. Absolutely. I can do a lot of window shopping. And there are some of these absolutely gorgeous websites for cakes, like special cakes. So similar to the Sultan cakes and so on, but different brands, handmades. Oh, I'm like in love. I want to get some. But the thing is, obviously, my goodness, I have plenty, so I don't need yet. But what I would like to one day, what I'm dreaming of, is to maybe like shop together one day on a live and say, hey, what cakes should we actually buy, and see what to get, and then make an unboxing of it. That could be kind of cool. But as mentioned, that's out in the future. It's not in the immediate plans. So yeah, I am in that sense kinda trying to limit myself. I also do have some yarn which I think could work up amazingly well in a knitting machine. So I have been debating on getting myself a knitting machine, like a Centro or Addy or something like that. But again, that is for future ideas and projects. And yeah, so there are things that I'm debating on. But yeah, work-wise, I'm trying to find the right job, and if the right job is not there, I'll be fine for a while. But officially, I can't work more than 13 hours a month to prevent them cutting my benefits. And that is because they estimated that I work 13 hours a month on my current business. I do have a small business next to this. I do have a small company where I make made to measure hearing protection, so earplugs, for the world of sports shooting. And it's a quite niche market. And it's not a place where, because they were like, oh, could you maybe increase your company size and like make a full-time living? And I was like, probably not. But that will keep me with an income, at least. should I not find the right job after this. And then I've been considering basically on opening a web shop and make a journey on that account, because there is quite a few people that's been trying to suggest me to sell some of my makes. And yeah, maybe that is a solution. Ask for an Addy for Christmas to work up beanies with single skeins. That's a possibility. That is a thought. I do not think, I don't know if my partner would entertain that idea. I need to figure out what to wish for Christmas in the first place, actually. I also have an idea of, this is the next crazy idea. I want to make my own buttons for like when I, for example, in this case, make clothing or something like that. That could be cool too. Like fully self-made process. I'm crazy, but I have so many ideas these days. It's kind of mad. Just getting me some more yarn here. We are working towards. I am getting closer up to this turning point, and then I quickly just need to revisit the pattern to ensure that when I start on the next part of this shawl, that I am actually working it up right, the correct way. But so far, this is so simple, it's mindless, right? It's just half doubles. Yarn over, insert hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 3 loops. Yay, half double. There we go. That's also something I should be doing. I'm making some of these simple stitch tutorials because I have this idea that they could be a handful for handy for some of my other tutorials. Like you can revert to the individual ones. Yes, I've plenty of time to implement my ideas. That's for sure. I have this idea I can turn it all into this small little business or side business. What they in German would say a Nebengeschäft. But I can't really implement anything officially until February, because if I do before and they nail me on having worked too many hours, I will lose well, I wouldn't say a lot of money, but I will lose money basically because I will have to repay. And I do not want to give the government any money if I can prevent it, at least no more than what I'm supposed to in the first place from taxes. So all my ideas are on the drawing board until February, and then in February a lot is going to happen if I don't have the right job before then. That's basically how it's going to be. I'd probably make like a vlog process as well of it, like, you know, today we did this and this is the plan and blah blah blah. It's the idea, I guess. And yeah, it could also be a wish for my birthday present. Hella suggesting I could put in a knit machine and other supplies on my present wish list for my birthday, because my birthday is in January. So what would be really awesome is if Hobby had the Twister Solids for sale around my birthday, because you get the birthday discount code from Hobby for a 10% extra discount. So that would be really awesome if that happens. So please, let's pray for that. And if that doesn't happen, then I might just have to look at what they have or other interesting sales if I want to grab anything. But that is for future me, not right now. but it could be a great idea for a birthday present. A series of stash shopping and showing us what you plan to make, showing us photos of the patterns. Yes, I actually did similar of that. Like all my drops, I have a series of stash shopping for. Like in the sense of I cleared up my stash and I kind of showed the plans of what I was planning on making with them. And a bunch of these yarns I have, especially I have like lots of cakes, like a lot is um, not to exaggerate, but I have a lot of cakes. And the general idea is shawls, right? Like I really like and enjoy making shawls. And I am looking for a new shawl project for a new project, but I'm not 100% sure which I should entertain doing. If you have any shawl suggestions, feel free to throw them at me. And of course, there's the hat collectors, which I'm planning on. I actually have two types of yarns that I want to do with it, and they are both going to be pretty large shawls once done. But one of them, obviously, I'm missing some yarns for, pending the yarn haul I have pending on me. But I need something else because I don't have that many rows to go on this one. I am almost done with row 144. Let's see here. Good morning, Joe. Welcome to the live. I hope you've had a great sleep last night. So yeah, I don't know if I should do a new sort my stash series next year, but I feel a lot of the yarns is gonna be what I already have showed because a bunch of them are still the same. I still wanna, yeah, we there are plenty of ideas as to what we can do, but I have so. You haven't been to bed yet. Oh my god, did you like work all night or just put an all nighter because you have insomnia or? Oh my goodness, you haven't slept yet. So I have been catching up on sleep. That is something. That is definitely something that I've been able to here while being unemployed. Um, But the challenge I have in life is also that I do have an autoimmune disease, and therefore my energy levels aren't always so amazing. Let's put it like that. You're a night owl, so you crocheted all night. What did you work on all night? What did you finish something, or did you just make good progress, or what's up on that account? Meanwhile, we are at row 144 on this one. I'm just quickly gonna check up on this. Susan tells us that she's right now knitting up a 15 skeins bulky yarn in her D-stash project. Oh, that was a blanket I think you mentioned last night, wasn't it? Well, that would have been your yesterday afternoon, but for me, last night. Let's see. I have to repeat row 9 and 10 all the way until row 144, which I did. And then row 145. We're now gonna make a bunch of shell stitches. Absolutely. And we have, let's see, finishing row is like 153. We have like, Jesus, only 9 rows left. Can that be true? It has to be. Jo said she's just started a blanket using a double crochet duo. Using the double crochet duo. It's like also double stranded yarns because I don't think I've heard of it. And Susan makes blankets that she donates to the Project Linus charity. I've not heard of that either. I have to give me a moment. Project minus charity. Because when you don't know what it is, it's kind of nice to see what it is. Project Linus provides handmade blankets to children in the age of 0 to 18 in the United States who are seriously ill, traumatized, or otherwise in need. Oh, that's such a beautiful project. I love that. Really, I do. Nice. Very nice. Absolutely. That's gorgeous. I like that. That's pretty. Let's see. For those that joined late and haven't seen the process of this project, is this absolutely gorgeous shawl. In the side, we have a bunch of these bubble stitches. I don't increase in the side, but I do all the creases in the other sides, which make it an irregular shape, which is kind of difficult to show, but it's increasing in size only by this side, and it's kind of a little bit curvy. So this is how it looks like after 144 rows. And yeah, we have to start on row 145, which is a bunch of double crochet puff stitches. It's from Day Crochet. It's a double crochet do stitch. Yeah, I've done one of her hats recently. I actually really enjoy her hat patterns. She makes really good designs. I like her. She's a wonderful person. She also just said she wouldn't go any more live like ever unless something crazy happens, and she just wants to focus on teaching people to crochet, which I think is a nice goal. I understand her, and she's just made a good decision in the sense of what she wants to make with her business. And I think sometimes it's difficult to make business decisions like that, but it makes sense. Good. Row 145, I need to chain one, then half double crochet in the same stitch, skip 2 stitches and then make a puff, skip 2 stitches and then a half double and then skip 2 and puffs, etc. Okay, I can do that. That should be easy. Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's gorgeous actually. It's puff stitches. So it's just basically a half double, skip 2, and then it's 3 puff stitches with a chain between. And then you skip 2 and you continue with the half double, and that's kind of results in this sort of. I have the feeling it's a little bit like flower buds, right? It's a little bit like flower buds. That's my feeling. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, and then we do this puff stitch, which is basically yarning over 4 times. So I have like 8 loops on the hook. And then I pull through a bunch of loops to half still 2 on the hook, and then I yarn over to pull through the last 2, and then I make a chain, and then I repeat that 2 more times. That's basically the border, so it's kind of nice. I like it. I just don't like the fact it's made with a puff stitch, but that's just because I'm not a big fan of puff stitches in the sense of the effort to make them, right? I like the look of puff stitches. I don't like to make them. Does that make sense? So yeah, I really like the look of it, but every time I have to make them, I'm like, okay, why did I choose this project? And it's like, yeah, because it looked awesome. Yeah, fair enough. Good. So now I made the 3 puff stitches. Then I need to skip 2 and work in a half double. And then, if I understand the pattern correct, which I think, this is a 4.5 millimeter hook with flowers alpaca from yarn art. Let's see if I can actually show this decently. Yarn Flowers Alpaca is the yarn I have here. And that's the same as if you know Hobby's Wool of Alpaca. This is just different brand, same yarn. It's just a different label and it's cheaper. Compared to Hobby's Wool of Alpaca, I think this one is like maybe a third of the price. But it's the same yarn, it feels the same. And it has the same yarn specs even. They do have some different colors. So there are some colors that you can only get with Hobby's Wool of Alpaca. And there are some colors that you can only get with the yarn arts. So it's also a little bit of temperament because this color I have here is only, I do believe, only yarn art flowers alpaca that comes with it. Let's see. So I skipped that and I did the half double and then puff chain one, puff, etc. multiplied by 23. So I need to make 23 puff stitches now. Awesome. Not 23 puff stitches, 23 things, which is like actually 69. Awesome. 1, 2, 3, 2, 3, and 4. Going through all of these loops, yarn over, etc. 2, 3, 4. Yes, so that's my point. So puff stitches look nice, but I absolutely hate making them. And now I'm sitting here and I'm like, why was it that I chose to do this project? There's puff stitches in it. And I'm like, yeah, well, that was the idea you had. I don't know how I got that idea. 1, 2, skip 2, make a half double, and then skip 2, etc. So let's see if I can actually show this. So this is the following repeat, is that we're now gonna make the puff stitches across as well. And eventually we're gonna have like all these teal colored puff stitches. Yeah. Sounds like we all dislike puff stitches. Do we know anyone who actually love them? Except for maybe the designers. 3, 4. Nope. Puff stitches just, I don't know. It's just, I guess it's because sometimes they go really easy and sometimes I make mistakes and it's fiddly. You know, like, see, I lost my stitch. So I can start this one all the way over. I can't even get my hook through. So, but I'll redo this puff stitch. Maybe she does. I once had a project I was working on where it was like a raglan type of sweater or a vest, and all the edges around like increases on the shoulders and so on, they were done in puff stitches. Like, goodness. So every time you got to where you had to increase around the shoulders, you had to do puff stitches. Yeah, hell no, exactly. But it's, I have to say, it's actually working up nice. That's the thing. I do like how this is looking. I just don't like doing them. So that's another really good reason for you guys to hang out with me right now, because you're keeping me company while I am muttering about our all common hates, and sometimes we need to have room to vent. It gives such a relief venting sometimes. Uh, and you know, if I'm frustrated, I do like a good vent. I do like a really good venting. I'm sometimes also being like, if you're so mad and frustrated, sometimes you just need to go outside and let your lungs out, like a really good scream. Try avoid having too many people around you because they might think you're crazy. But that's such relieving. Like just let frustrations go in a big fat scream. That is something I have done and quite enjoyed it, actually. Let's see. That's 2, 3. Oh, one more. Just as long as you don't have to make it. I'm not forcing anyone to make purple stitches right now. Definitely not. 2, 3, 4. I'm just happy you guys are willing to hang out with me while I do buff stitches. Right? That's making me happy because I'm not all alone with my frustration. Yay. 1, 2. We have to work puff stitches here. 2, 3, 4. I get really good at counting to 2, 3, and 4 though. Actually 1, 2, 3, and 4. Because I do 3 puff stitches, I do 1 chain between, and then I do 4 um, 4 times yarning over, plus I am skipping 2 stitches between. So the pattern itself is simple and the repetition is simple, and sometimes simple does it, right? 2, 3, 4. Yes, we do. I don't know if Amanda is even around. That's she's really had a crazy time on the plumbing issue account. I hope that they are done with my power grid. Because they have been fixing the power grid. Actually, they've been upgrading the power grid here in the neighborhood, and they've been working on that for about a month now. So they dug up some local holes. So they didn't dig up the whole street, which I'm really happy about. But they did have a few local, like every 100, 300 meters or something like that. There was a big hole in the ground, maybe like 2 by 5 meters or something like that, where they like could just exactly fit in a person to do stuff with the wires and get back out. Uh-oh, that was 2 half doubles. I wasn't supposed to do that. And while they've been fixing on them and been actually working on the cables, they put out the power in the house. And you just basically get a letter, and the letter says, next week on that date, you have no power. Yay! No. So I kind of hope they're done with that, because I like my power, especially because it's winter and it's dark. So had it not been winter and dark, I could just sit and crochet all day. But because now it's winter, there's less light. And if it's really dark outside as it was this morning, I wouldn't barely be able to see my stitches without electrical lights over there. Which sounds crazy because I'm in the Netherlands. I'm not like in above the polar circle where it's like going to be completely dark. Yes, I am in a quite modern area. The houses we have is built back around year 2000. And I believe one of the reasonings for them to update the power grid, because all cables are underground, is mainly because they want to ensure the power grid is ready for the future. Because I have this idea that more and more people will be having electrical vehicles like Teslas, etc., and they need to be able to charge them at home. It doesn't necessarily need to be Tesla, but kind of the concept like fully electrical vehicles. And the power grid can't handle if every house has an electrical vehicle they have to charge at home next to your normal daily consumption of electricity in your household, if that makes sense. So luckily all our power lines are underground, with the only exception of being the very big power lines. Those, they are like cabled and wired somewhere. There should be some, I know there is some like that direction from me, but they're rather far from here. It's a couple of 100 meters where it is. But for us, there is no like electrical cables above ground here, which is kind of nice, because if it's been windy or stormy, usually we still have power. Like, we are not suffering from power issues due to bad weather. And we have solar panels on our roof as well. This works up really, really nice. Just takes time. So I do live in a rather modern or newer home. It's only like 20 some odd years old, which is nice. I like my house mostly. There is a few things I would like changed, but that's just, I think, a personal thing. Can't afford it right now because that's going to cost a fortune. What I want to do, we have fireplace, but it's not a regular fireplace. It's running on gas. We never turn it on because gas is really expensive, and it really consumes a lot. So it's not an interesting primarily heating source for us because it's just way more expensive to put it on. It's been on, I don't know, last time it's probably been 10 years ago. But we have it. So we want to remove it to get more space in our living room because it does take up like a meter by a meter, right? So we would like to remove that. And I would like to get floor heating on the whole ground floor level, because heating coming from floor heating keeps the house warmer in a much more comfortable feeling, due to warmth in, like, if it's warm at ground it will move up, and therefore, and another thing is, if you're not cold around your feet and legs, usually you will feel warmer, so you will need less heat to kind of feel warm, is the idea. So that's more sustainable as well. um and then I need a new kitchen eventually, not because my kitchen right now is functional. It does have a few wear and tear spots, but I know that within the next 10 years, I will definitely need a new kitchen, because then it's definitely torn and worn down. But no wonder, like, then it's like 30 years old, right? So, are your homes attached or single units? I live in a place where it's a bunch of rows. Um, we own the house. Or, well, I should say my partner owns this house because it's his mortgage and everything. I'm just me being happy. So it's technically not my house, but I call it my house because I live here and I've been living here for the last 15 years. Um, but so our row of houses contain, they are attached. So there are actually four houses, or four homes, I should say, four homes under one roof. And the full home would be also floored. So it's quite common for Dutch people to have, um, if you have a row of houses and then you kind of have multiple houses under the same big house, big roof, and you will own each section, so to say, which is each individual home. So we have main floor, main floor, ground floor, then we have first floor, and then we have the attic on top. And all three levels are 100% able to be lived in. And the first ground or the ground floor, we have our entrance, we have a guest toilet, we have a kitchen living room in one room, which is the one I'm sitting in right now. And we have like a cupboard and everything in. So kitchen, working area, it's like one big group of room. Then if I go upstairs, I have my bathroom, I have my guest room, which is also my yarn room, which is wrong to say, but it's my stash for everything. Because there's much more than just yarn in there. Actually, there's too much in there. I need to get a bunch of stuff sorted. I have we have our bedroom, and then we can go upstairs again. We have the whole attic, and the whole attic is filled with not just my stuff, also with my partner's stuff, computers, servers. He's a computer guy. Laundry machines, believe it or not, laundry and dryer is upstairs, and my freezer, because the Dutch are crazy. So a bit like UK homes, yes. The reason for the Dutch to you can also live in a single home with no neighbors attached, but if you have a house like that, then you need to have quite a bit of money because they are more expensive, and that is due to if we compare. Now I'm from Denmark, and if we compare the Netherlands to Denmark, um, what you have is that the Netherlands is about 5,000 square kilometers smaller in size, country-wise, but there are 3 times the amount of people living there. So that basically means unless you are somewhere quite remote in the Netherlands, which would be all the way up north, then housing is quite expensive. Right now, I think in the area where I live, if you want to buy a new house, you will need to be ready to spend somewhere between 300,000 and 400,000 euros. And if you want to have a house that's on its own, you're looking at above 500,000. And I am an hour and a half from Amsterdam. I'm almost at the German border, location-wise. So it's quite expensive to get houses here currently as well. So housing is expensive, and there's a shortage on housing, which is also one of the reasons that it gets more expensive. Unless you have an insanely good job, you probably can't buy a house as a single person right now, or you have to have a good savings account. It's that crazy. But yeah, second floor wouldn't be too bad either. So yeah, second floor or first floor. So my laundry is all the way on the attic, which is well, I've gotten used to it now, so I don't think about it. But in the beginning, I thought it was really weird. But also, um, my dryer is there. I have a drying rack as well up there, etc. So it works. It's functional. And it's, I guess, because the Dutch build in height, and that's simply because, as I said, land is expensive, um, and they don't have as much space as, for example, they do in Denmark, where it's more common to have one ground houses that's all standing alone, or two-level houses also standing on their own, unless, of course, you're in the bigger city again. I am living in town, city, in between. There's about 10,000 people in the city where I live. And I have like 10 to 15 minutes drive to the bigger cities, which is about 100,000 citizens. So location-wise, I'm pretty okay, I think. That was wrong. It was not for a puff stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are many things. I definitely need to find out what I want to do and what's possible and so on. I did many years before my past job. I were self-employed, But COVID struck pretty hard for my business because some of the jobs I did were translations from, for example, Dutch to Danish. And what we encountered was with COVID that some of the main customers I had was within the travel business. And with COVID, you weren't allowed to travel. So that's kind of why I changed job and looked for a new. On the other hand, I don't think if COVID hadn't hit, I'm not sure if I would have been crocheting because that's something that I first took up again when there wasn't much to do. And yeah, it's a bit funny how things go, right? 1, 2, 3. Yep. 1, 3, 4. Oh, no, 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 no. Keep track. Yeah. Success. How the traffic is in my area, that depends on where you want to go. Just in my own little city, it's quite okay. If you want to go to the bigger cities, traffic is a nightmare. I don't want to commute to work, basically, if I can prevent it, because of traffic. If I would want to go to Amsterdam, I would have to spend hours in traffic, unless I wanted to take the train, but I still then would need to get to the train station, which isn't close either. Well, it's okay close, it's 5 kilometers, but I don't have a car. When I do use a car, I borrow it from either my partner or my mom-in-law. I do have a driver's license and I am allowed to drive, but I do not have my own car because it's too much money for the need I have. So I generally use public transportation, which works out most of the time. So yeah, I'm kind of okay with that. Would I want a car in the future? I'm open for it if it would be worth the cost of having it. Right now, it mostly isn't. So, oh my goodness. Yeah, here we are. Let's see. Susan tells us she is watching Kutuvakika, a talented knitter and designer who's in Finland. So it's interesting to see how home is in other places. Yeah. Finland has a few nice designers for sure. Definitely. So to compare, my parents are in Denmark and they have a freestanding house. And if we sold this house here in the Netherlands, where we are, and we got the price that the market currently should be paying for it, we could probably buy my parents' house 5 or 6 times. 5, I think 4, definitely 5, probably 5 times, which is kind of crazy, right? So that just shows you differences on, and it's also a bit supply demand, obviously. What region are you living in? What is demand for that region for homing? That's very valid. Hello, Maritza. Welcome to this live. We are just hanging out, crocheting, chatting about the Netherlands and Denmark, about our love and hate for bubble stitches, because I've chosen this pattern where I have an awful lot of bubble stitches for the last like 9 rows. And I'm trying to understand why I chose this project, but that's just how it is. I think it's the last 145, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. last 7 rows is puff stitches, and then it's 1 row of something else or 2 rows of something else. Still puff stitches. Yay! 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 And I'm not sure why I'm thinking it was an amazing idea, but I apparently thought it was. So here we are doing those. And then I think it's so awesome that you guys are keeping me company while doing so, while you can learn a bit about the Netherlands if you want to, or Denmark, because we can also talk about Denmark. I am Danish. So another good thing is that I want to, like, really genuinely, sounds crazy. So unless the right job is there, I'm not really keen on getting a job anytime soon. Well, eventually need one, but I wouldn't mind it for taking a bit, because then I can also have some time after February, once all this unemployment agency stuff is gone, to actually visit my family in Denmark. And I have a little dream once then I go to Denmark, would be to visit one of the hobby stores and take you with me on tour to a hobby store and not just hobby website. That would be cool, I think. So that is a little dream of mine. That would be so cool. If I think we will see a color change, I do, but I don't think it will be visible because it's so subtle right now. Because right now, this yarn right up here, you can sometimes see it a little bit. It is very thin, different threaded. It's like gray with two threads of gray and 2 threads of very light teal. And it will be a bit darker teal before we then turns into the very dark teal. But I don't think it will be visible. That's a sad story of it. But I do think I will come one eventually. If I will reach the stream that far that we can fully see it, I don't know. The benefit, I guess, is all these puff stitches eat yarn quicker than the half doubles. So maybe, depends on how amazing I am, how quick I am. And I'm not the quickest crocheter, I shall absolutely definitely admit that. Which is the scary part if I want to start sell my makes and stuff like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So maybe. So I know there will be one, but if it's visible, I don't know. But we will see how far we get. It is right now 10 minutes before 4 here in the Netherlands. And I can be here for maybe another hour at best, I think. 4:45, maybe 5, but at 5 I really need to be off. So we have about an hour. And I am absolutely cool working on just this project until then. I actually don't have many projects I'm actively working on right now. I am working on finding out what project to start next of my drops projects, because I did finish the Thoughts of Ireland shawl, though it was far from as big as I had expected it to turn out. But after reading the pattern, it's probably the right size, which is the scary part. But my impression was that it was smaller. The Thoughts of Ireland is with drops design. This pattern is the Aranel Shawl. And I'll just keep working on the Aranel Shawl, which I've linked to in the description box in this video down below. I wanted to check if the poll, because I do have members activated for my channel, and the members have been given the freedom to vote on what project I should work on next. And right now it looks to be coming a poncho. That will be my next project. Spearmint poncho, also from Drops. So not sure if that is going to be what it will be, but it is the likelihood of being the next pattern I will work on from Drops. One, two. Oh, we are almost done with this row. Yay! And we still keep fetching out yarns. I haven't seen the join yet for this next one, but we're getting there. We are getting there. I have the feeling that Susan is going to take my note of being the top chatter of this live. Could go check with Nightbot, but I have a feeling that that is indeed the case. Just because I'm curious, I want to know. 3, 4. Oh no, that can't be true. I missed one. Let's redo. I've really been doing a lot here. Oh, they changed the dashboard here totally. Yes, Susan, clearly in the lead for being the top chatter of this live. 2. Well, that's not true either. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we'll pull through a bunch. Yeah, that was better. Why does this look so funny? I think I made a mistake here. So I think I'll just redo this whole puff section. It looked funny. 1, 2, 3, 4. Obviously, if we need to reach to see a color change, I can't keep redoing sections like this. That is not effective. 1, 2, 3, 4. I need to try to be a bit efficient. It's not very efficient having to redo things. And I'm not a big keen on frocking. But that's mainly because when I'm challenged because I'm a perfectionist, but at the same time, I don't want to keep mistakes. I want to frock them out. But I hate the feeling of wasted time. But I'd rather have it perfect than waste time. I want to have it imperfect. That's probably from the old me. I used to do top sport, so I wanted to be perfect because obviously if you're a competitive soul, it needs to be perfect. I'm still somewhat active in my sport, but not as active as I used to be. I need to do lots of changes for that to happen. And I'm not as young as I used to be. And I am afraid to admit, well, I'm not afraid to admit, I'm sorry to admit probably, that my body is not in the same physical ability as it used to be. I'm not as fit as I once were. And it's really odd because mentally I don't feel this old, but physically I do. If that gives sense. Like physically, it's COVID has not been good because it's turned me less active. And the last 4 or 5 years, I can really feel a difference health wise. Definitely the last 4 years. And I can't find out if that's only due to work being unhealthy to me and caused me to turn inactive, um, or if it's also a part of my autoimmune disease. I think it's a very difficult and delicate matter, actually. But that's how it is. Also, these days, I am enjoying the last bits of my HBO subscription. Because, well, I got HBO subscription to watch Olympics this summer, and then I wanted to cancel the subscription, and then they were like, "Oh, but if you want to cancel, we would like to offer you this temporary subscription, which is cheaper, which expires in December." But right now, I am binge watching His Dark Materials because I did see the Golden Compass movie, and I realized I watched the first season on His Dark Matters, um, His Dark Materials, like probably the first year it came, even, and I never saw this season 2 or season 3 of it. So I'm actually watching that right now when I'm not watching other people being live or doing stuff with my partner or doing other stuff. Yeah, and I'm actually enjoying it. So that's nice. I do enjoy it. 1, 2. And if you have any suggestions as to what is worth watching, I'm open ears because it is winter and it is cold outside. And on days with bad weather, I tend to stay indoor. And if there is no work to be found, and I'm just gonna be crocheting, then crochet for a good series is a good idea. So if you have any good recommendations, I am definitely taking streaming recommendations. And I watch a bit of everything. The only thing I do not watch is horror. Susan also says that she wants to be more active, but sitting and stitching is very sedentary. Yeah, that's so. But the crazy thing is, I have crocheted more this past month and a half, generally speaking, but also this past month and a half. Now the scary part comes. I've been moving more than I would do on my regular day-to-day job. Isn't that scary? So I move more. I move 2 to 3 times as much now than I did when I was employed. That is how unhealthy my job was for me. I did like the money though. But who doesn't like money? Because we need money to pay for our lives, don't we? And yarn. um, but I'll figure out something. I'm not lost for means. I do have other incomes, so I'm gonna be okay. Yes, a job outside the house is definitely good for moving more. My challenge is I can't do that full time. I want to, but I don't have the energy to do that 40 hours a week. Then work will be my only activity next to sleep. And that's my challenge. Um, I won't have the energy to do it. So I need something where maybe once in a while, like once every 2 weeks or something out of the house, or once a week could work. But every day leaving would not be sustainable for me if it's full time. Not at the current moment. Because I would need way more sleep. I wouldn't have the energy levels for it. Um, which kind of sucks. You used to work and sleep when you were younger and worked in New York City. Oh damn, yeah, I can imagine. Lots of community as well, right? Like there's lots of traffic in New York. It's not a small city. Um, I also have Amazon Prime. Recently on Prime, I watched House, as simple as. So I've watched the whole House series. I've seen some episodes in the past, but I've really never taken the time to watch it all. So I did over the summer. Um, yeah, so I watched all 8 series of House. They are streaming on Prime as well. On Prime, if you're into British humor, like really black humor, I will recommend you to watch Good Omens on Prime. That's a little bit like, um, I can't even explain that humor, but it's good. uh, it's a bit of a black humor. Uh, like I think it's like it's both, yeah, it's kind of scary ideas, but it's presented in a such way you can't help by laughing. It's about angels and demons, um, preventing the Armageddon, basically. And I think it's quite good. It's with Charlie Sheen and some other guy I do not remember the name of right now, but they have some extremely good clips also on YouTube if you want to watch like a trailer or something like that of it. But Good Omens, I can warmly recommend it on Prime. I do believe it's like a series of, the first season is maybe like 8 episodes or 50-ish minutes, so that's not too much. But what I also want to say is you probably need to see more than just the first episode to judge it. I would recommend to watch at least 2 or 3 episodes before you decide if you want to watch it all. Because the first episode is a lot of explanation and you're not really seeing the link yet before you get a few episodes in. The hustle in New York City area is, let's see if I can't read that in this chat window moment. The hustle in New York City is intense. I'll take a look at the Good Omens. Thank you. You're very welcome. Can recommend it. They also made a season 2, which I haven't watched yet because I need to finish watching season 1 with my partner, which I already watched. But yeah, so I'm trying not to watch it yet. But we have so many other things we're also watching, so you should get moving on that. 1, 2, 3, and the 4th for this path. Yep. Oh yeah. Well, it's British. It's very British. It's a really good series. I like it. Are you? It's a little bit fantasy world, but yet it's quite down to ground. And I've also what they also have on Prime, and that's more if you are into this fantasy world. They have the Rings of Power, which is basically Lord of the Rings before Lord of the Rings. It's like how the Rings of Power came to exist, which is actually pretty good made. It's not bad. Of course, you can't expect it's Peter Jackson work, but it's not bad. Oh, damn, this failed. Ah, yeah. So you would like English-speaking series. Rings of Power is English-speaking. And they also have one more on Prime. That's again the fantasy world, which I also enjoyed watching. Which is, let's see if I can even find it. Where is it? What was the name again? I really should know. It's fantasy, you would call it. I guess it's not coming up right now. Wheel of Time. There it was. The Wheel of Time. I believe that's also on. Yes, The Wheel of Time. That's also good. Also English. Made with a combination of different actors. There are American actors, English actors, etc. But it's very good as well. Again, we are in the fantasy world there. I do know some Netflix series too. But the only reason we have Netflix is because my mom-in-law has Netflix and she wants to share her subscription with us. So she is paying for a second subscription so we can have it, which is nice. I have the feeling this is not right. The title of the Lord of the Rings prelude is The Rings of Power. And that's streaming on Prime. I placed a link to it on Internet Movie Database. One, two, three, four. I could do the same with the Wheel of Time if you want. 3, 4. But yeah, that's like what I was on top of my mind from Prime. Good series, and both The Wheel of Time and The Rings of Power, our original Prime recorded series. So they're quite nice, actually. I like them. One, two, three. I don't have many left because I'm really getting close to the end here. 1, 2, 3, 4. One, 2, 3, 4. Good morning. I read here oddballs. Good morning. Welcome to this live. Did I see that correct? I did. You barely can't see it, but here's a color change for, it was asked earlier. You can see there's a little knot here in the yarn because it's changing. So we are down to having 3 very light teals and a very light gray. But if we reach the next color change before we have to end the chat or live, I don't know. We'll have to see. But there was the color change, which is barely not visible. And that's because of the light here. I do apologize for that. 2, 4, I need one more. But the light does apparently not allow to show the color change in a proper light. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. But yeah, it's right here. I do apologize for not being able to see it. But it's so subtle, this change. It's what can I say, so much nicer in reality. Oddballs went to bed last night and had green grass in your own yard, and this morning you woke up to a layer of an inch of snow. It snowed here this morning too. I'm in the Netherlands, and it was big flocks of snow, and then it rained, and there was big flocks of snow again, and now it's actually almost light because I have the feeling I can very vaguely see the sunsets. And it's not unlogic that the sun is setting now because it is 4:15 and it is winter, which means that the sun will be fully down in about like an hour and a half. Kind of sad. I like summer. Yesterday we had a very short moment, or was it the day before? I don't even remember anymore. It was like the sun going through the windows was so nice and warm. I do have weather commands. I do recall it's exclamation mark and city or postcode. So like if I do weather, I need to be able to type weather, and then we'll do Nijmegen because that's reasonably close to where I live. Same. I have the same feeling, except last night when I came home from the club, it felt pretty cold. It was chilly outside, so I had the feeling it was going to change very soon. If that is Nightbots wants to play with us, it should do. Oh, I can't even type. I see. That's why Nightbot doesn't command on it. Because I didn't type right. Weather. The weather for New Jersey is conditions are cloudy with a temperature of 54 24 degrees Fahrenheit, which is about 12 degrees Celsius. The wind is blowing from the east-southeast at 1 mile per hour, and the current humidity is 68. I'm kind of disappointed it doesn't want to provide me my weather, but it's cool. Weather for Winkler conditions are snow shower wind with a temperature of 28, -2. Wind is blowing from the northwest at 55 miles per hour. Current humidity is 94. That sounds not nice. I don't know why it doesn't want to share it. My weather. Why doesn't it want to share my weather? Nightbot, be nice. It should share my weather. Technically. There we go. It's cloudy with a temperature of 37 degrees Fahrenheit or 3 degrees Celsius. The wind is blowing from the west-southwest at 10 miles per hour, and the current humidity is 86. Yeah, it was wet earlier this morning. 1, 2. And meanwhile, we're almost done here. I need to check how it's set. Half double crochet in the last. By the look of it, we're not. Are we not going to increase more then? I guess we aren't. Then half double crochet in the last and turn. So what I need to do is I need to actually count if this is correct what I've done, but I think it is. So I need to have a total of 26 half doubles and 24 puff shells. Okay. Obviously I am working on this shawl. Which let's see, so when I turn it around for me, we are slowly working on this, and we enter the teal more and more. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 1, 2, 3, 4. Awesome! It's correct. How many half doubles do we then have? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Ha! I am absolutely up and running here. That's awesome. We are ready for row 147. 147. I am working on the Aranel Shawl, as you obviously from the description box may know. And what is everybody else making? It's a good question, Oddballs. Oddballs is working on the wrapped in a facade wrap from Bago Day with a Stendy cotton cake. Oh, nice. Stendy has some really nice cakes. I do love my Stendy cakes for sure. Yes, I am getting closer to finish because I have like, I think 7 rows to go or something like that. Because, so I need to start at row 147 and it goes until row 153. So that's 7 more rows. Then I'm done. Scary, huh? Then what's next? Let's see. Row 147 is chain 1. So we will chain 1. Then we'll turn our work and we will have to do a half double crochet in the same stitch. I can do that. And then in the next stitch, which is basically that one in between, in the half doubles we made in between all of the stitches, I need to make a puff stitch. And then, well, the 3 puff stitches, and then we skip the next puff, blah, blah, blah. In the center of the puff shell, we do a half double. Okay, I should be able to do that. La 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 la. So let's start by working in this puff. 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, I'm actually getting quite close to finishing this one. Would be nice if it's finished like next week. 2, 3, 4. Because I'm not sure if I will be able to finish it before this week's Yarn Talk video. Because I have a few other things I want to do before then. Maybe I can finish it this weekend, and if not, well, maybe next week. Let's see. I need to find the top stitch. That's a start. It's a chain. Will be, I guess, that one. Where I have to work in a half double. I will show you guys in a very few how this one is looking, because then now my question is, I will have to work it in there, I would say. It's just not really clearly shown here, but it works because that's like 2. Yeah, that would be this one. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'll just finish up this puff stitch group and attach it to the next with a half double, and then I'll show you guys up close how this looks. And then one more. I'm not so sure we'll reach to see the real darker teal color change this time around, unfortunately. Because time is also flying. But that is because I'm in good company. I need to work in a half double here. And we'll insert a stitch marker to keep track of my yarn. That is really what I like about crochet opposed to knitting. You insert a stitch marker, it stays. This is basically the next few rows, which will have these lovely puff stitches across. Like you already have here. And towards the edge. I think it's gorgeous. The only downside is its puff stitches. But oh, it's gorgeous. So we need to do that all the way back. So Suzanne is telling us again about the 15 skeins bulky yarn blanket with a garter stitch for the fast completion. Oddballs is waiting for an order with a new set of interchangeable knitting needles before you knit the new project. Oh, that sounds nice. I always love getting new tools. Who doesn't? Or yarn for that matter. Suzanne is also cranking up current latte cakes for a hat and a scarf set. Alternate when I get tired of one for the other. That's good. That's actually one of the reasons why I tend to have more projects I'm working on, is because if I'm tired working on one, I can change to others. That said, sometimes I'm very motivated to get one project finished and I crank out extra work on it. But generally, my fingers also enjoy um, working on different projects. Because if I work too much, like I do like working up projects in thin yarn because I think it looks gorgeous and lazy, but my fingers doesn't like it if I only do that. So therefore I changed with a bit thicker yarns like DK weight yarns or Aran weight yarns and so on. And even different yarn fibers sometimes are also nice. I have no wool allergies, luckily. But it's still nice to be able to work in either acrylic or cotton or wool, or in this case, there's alpaca in this. The yarn specs are 20% alpaca and 80% acrylic. So I just like being able to do so. Interchangeable needle sets are very convenient. Yes, they are. I do not knit a lot. I do know how to knit, but I would probably not exactly call me an experienced knitter. I can do knit and purl. I can increase, I can decrease. So I do know the basics, but it's been so long since I've been knitting, and I guess I'm not what you would call an avid knitter. And one of the reasons is that I need to have two things I have to keep track of. I have to have two sticks, so to say, where with crochet I only need to keep track of the crochet hook. So that's why I prefer crochet. It's less to keep track of. And there is so much more opportunity, I guess. But I've also seen some really gorgeous knitted projects. So I don't know, maybe it's just me being partial. And I was contemplating on putting that knitting machine on my wish list. So it's not that and I do have some of the most gorgeous knitted sweaters, which I've gotten from my mom. My mom is a good knitter. So I once back in the day, long time ago, I bought a sweater from a shop, a knitted sweater, and I liked the design. So we redesigned it with a different yarn, and um, my mom basically made me a more warmer version containing wool, and I use those for winter. I wear them during winter because they're nice and warm. Let's see, 1, 2. Oh, do not lose me. Almost lost my stitches. So, Oddballs ordered from Knitpicks. I assume it's interchangeable needles. Because they had their Swift and Winder combo on Super Sale, and I needed the Swift. I'm going to be gifting the Winder to my daughter. Oh, that's lovely. I have a Swift as well, which I got last year for my birthday present from my mom and dad. I only have a small winder. I kind of like a bigger winder actually, because with some of my cakes, I can actually feel that it's on the edge to being small. And it's just nice to be able to make bigger cakes. One of my projects I actually wind up oh shit, 2 should be the right amount. I wind up skeins into cakes because it's easier to work with for my mosaic blanket project. But I also have some really gorgeous wool hanks where I need to put them on a winder to cake them up. Like hand-dyed merino wool superwash. That's probably like somewhere between DK and Aran weight. Absolutely gorgeous wool from Gasal, which is a Turkish brand. It's upstairs. I need to do that also at some stage. But it's not been a priority of mine. I wanted to make it a priority, but it could be that I'm postponing that for a bit. Maybe for another series. Another yarn series. Let's see. Oddball says she's going to get herself a big Stanwood winder. Been saving money for almost a year for the Black Friday sales this year. Yeah, I've heard about the Stanwood winders and I've been eyeballing them a bit on Amazon. And I'm like, oh, yeah, maybe that is what I should have. Maybe that's the solution too. Because my winder is also like how I need to set it up. It needs to be attached to a table with this screw, and the table I usually use is too thick for it, so I end up needing to move it to like a bench or something like that where it can easier sit. I'd actually just rather have one that doesn't necessarily need to be tightened in the same way. And it would also be cool if you have one that could count length for you. I know there are length measurements tools out there. Like you could make your own cakes, basically. That would be kind of cool too. Why do I have this feeling that this is smaller than the others? The single one. It could be. I'm gonna redo it. Then if it's not, then it's because I was silly. I think I missed a fourth one. And that is what happens sometimes when I chat and crochet at the same time. Because Susan tells me she's admiring my ability to crochet and chat at the same time. I am doing my best. I am doing my best. But sometimes I make mistakes. 2, 3, and 4. Now we have to go through all these loops. We did, and that was it. Chain 1, and we do the same. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Oddballs is going to travel in January and February to Mexico and Guatemala. Mexico actually has gorgeous cotton yarns, and Guatemala has beautiful wools from Peru. Awesome. So I bet you're going to fill your suitcase with some yarns before going home. At least that would make sense. The alpaca I used from Drops for oh my goodness. Oh, this is not good. See? I have a piece of yarn popping up here. It's not straight. So we can redo, because that shows that somehow I split my yarn. So let's redo that before it splits completely. That's a perfectionist in me. Sorry, mates. One, two, three, four. So what I wanted to say, the Thoughts of Ireland is made in 100% alpaca yarn from drops, and that's made in Peru as well. Absolutely gorgeous alpaca yarns there. Oh goodness. Yeah, you jinxed me. Oddball says she's going for work. So you are on your husband's suitcases. So your husband is also working at the same time there, or you're just joining him because he's going for work, or like I wouldn't mind traveling for work. I could definitely do that. Ah, that's awesome. So he's going with work and you get to go with him. That's wonderful. It's kind of how I ended up in Belgium last weekend. Oh, not last weekend, the weekend before last weekend. Because my partner had to go to Belgium for work, and the guy that hired him in knows that if he goes, I go. In any case, so I also joined up and I helped him out and made a bit of money. So that's cool. Reminds me I need to send him an invoice. Oh my good, time really does fly in good company. It's been about an hour, 2 hours, 2 hours on this stream. Yeah, I'm not so sure we will make it to the end, because eventually I will need to get going. My partner gets off in about 15 minutes, 20 minutes from work, and then I need to get dinner cooked because we like to eat early. We enjoy eating early, in fact. That's a good thing about me not having my past job anymore, because we had to eat quite late due to when I got off work. Now we can eat at a bit more normal time, which is about, and normally we would eat in somewhere around an hour from now. So, but it's easy work. I have planned for us to have a pasta bolognese for dinner. So it's basically pasta and meatballs, I guess. So that's easy. Sometimes easy is also nice, but I still need to cook it. Color changing yarn makes me want to work faster too. Yes. Because you kind of look forward to see how it's going to look up when it's completely worked up, right? I do like this. It is working up really nicely, I have to say. With this 2-layer, it's a nice intricate design. I do like it. I do. So I am gonna do just a few more, and then we probably have to slowly end this, unfortunately. 1, 2, 3, 4. We'll have another afternoon stream. Definitely gonna be here with you next week. And maybe this weekend. It's a bit undecided because my partner may need to go somewhere for work. But that is something where he's just away for a day or two. And if he does that, I might do a pop-up Saturday. But it's unsure yet because he's still waiting information. So it could be that he's not going at all. And if he's not going at all, then I won't because then I'd rather spend time with him, which I hope you understand. But I'm sure you do. So, whoopsie daisy. One more done. Yes and no. The half double crochet rows, if they got monotones, a bit yes and a bit no. The benefit was that I could just do it without having to think too much about it, so to say. Which was something that was kind of nice, right? But then at the same time, yeah, it's a bit just back and forth. It's nice, simple, so it was easy something you could do for the TV because you didn't have to think too much, if that makes sense. So that's the part I really liked. But it can also get a bit tedious just doing the same. And we need one more. So yeah, they got a bit, but then at the same time, at the very end, where you have the puff stitches, the very end of this row, it's a little bit different. So you still need to pay a little bit attention. So it was both nice and mindless, and at the same time, you couldn't get completely lost because at the end of the row, you had to do something. Right? At the one end, you have to increase with an extra half double. And at the other end, you need to ensure that the half doubles get inserted correctly in the puff stitch section, basically. So 2, 3, 4. January and February is in Canada. In Canada sucks. Mexico and Metal as well is much nicer. Yeah, I can imagine for that, for sure. I definitely much rather want to go somewhere warmer in winter. Says the Scandinavian who moved to the Netherlands, which is kind of warmer already, right? It's actually quite warm. I have actually a poncho in it, which I can show. Let's see, we actually have a half double, and we are at a place where eventually do slowly need to stop. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna insert my stitch marker, and I'm going to, I think it's going to be easier actually to pop up back to my normal face in a big screen before we're ending this. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna show you shortly. Well, I could also do the be right back video because I'll be right back, but it's gonna be 10, 15, maybe 20 seconds at best. So give me a break just shortly. It's just for you to not get dizzy.
Our hearts beat to the city streets. We began to feel the fire. We rise like tall.
So we are back. Yay! Thank you for your very short patience. This is how we are looking right now. Can also turn it a bit around. Oh, that was my lamp. We are working this quite nice and gorgeous, and it's definitely warm. This is how much I have left now on the cake. Oh, the light is horrible. I'm sorry for this artificial light, but it is winter. But what I did a while ago last spring, winter spring, I actually worked up this poncho in the same yarn, and it's so nice and warm. It's really, really nice. Yes, flowers alpaca. This yarn is also the flowers alpaca, and it's also available in the hobby wheels of alpaca. But this is the yarn art flowers of alpaca. So it's just a price tag difference. And this is, yeah, it's gorgeous. I need to be able to see what I'm actually showing you guys. 2 cakes I used for this, and it has cowl. And I was thinking I should be wearing it, but I actually was warm enough without. So it has a cowl as well. And this is really warm. Like, it's really nice and warm. I really like it. So absolutely gorgeous. It's the Inlines poncho, Inlines alpaca poncho, by, do you believe it's Tante Tråd design? It's a hobby design. Let me find the pattern design for you guys. Give me one moment. It's very cozy. I'm inclined even to make a second version of it. But it took a lot of time as well, I can say. I started working on it in the car on the way to Christmas last year. Last year we were in Denmark for Christmas. Which is, yeah, which is what we do every second year. So that's not too illogical. I'm trying to see if I can get the... Yes, I got the pattern here. I'm going to share it in the chat, so give me a second. For those that's interested, it's a paid pattern from Hobby. If you have Hobby Plus, it's free. Right now, Wheel of Alpaca I see is on sale for 16 euros per cake, which is actually a pretty good price. It's 50% off. Normally it's 32 euros, which is basically the flowers is like 10 euros, a bit more than 10 euros or so. So if you're looking for anything from Hobby, in any case, this is actually quite a good opportunity if you want to go for this. It's by Crochet TT, which is Tante Tråd. That's a Danish designer. Absolutely gorgeous. And this is the same colorway that she used for the pattern. It's the same colorway that I used for this one, except the only difference is that I did not get them from Hobby. I got them from Yarn Art Flowers Alpaca. Gorgeous. It's so gorgeous, this. I really, really enjoy it. But the Wheel of Alpaca do have a few different colors that could be interesting if you want to go that way. So, yeah. Like if I would have to ship it, shipping from me to Canada, let's say if I were to get 2 balls, would be like 25, 26 euros to ship them for me. So I don't think it would be that much more beneficial for me to do. Maybe, I don't know if they could be found on Amazon, maybe. But that's also usually more expensive, right? Because the companies themselves don't sell the yarns on Amazon. That's usually a different person that's like having a storage, and they sell them through Amazon, and they will make sure they make profit. The yarn company needs to make profit, and yeah, stuff like that. It's actually there's quite some nice in between. I'm keen. Like the Purple Rain is gorgeous. Or blooming spring. Oh my goodness. I want to get yarn now, but I should not. So I am nicely locking off again. Because I know what will happen if I look at that for too long. Oh no 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 no. I did not think that you were asking me for doing it. But the crazy thing is I probably would be willing to do so. Um if I somehow could help, but I don't think it would be financially realistic or worth it for me to do so. That was more of what I was saying. That's a crazy thing. Because I'd love to do like exchanges of some kind. Because there are yarns that I can't buy, for example, because I'm here. And then at the same time, there are things I can buy. Like I'm very tempted to get yarns from some American stores, which is yarns that I can't get here in Europe very easily without shedding a fortune. And that's also shipping. Shipping overseas just is generally killing. Let's keep it like that. It doesn't matter how and what. And that's also how I can't always understand how Hobby can do it that cheap. And Hobby these past few days have had quite cheap shippings. This past month and a half to the Netherlands. So I'm not sure if they're trying to get into the Dutch market somehow. I think so, like more into the Dutch market because we are down to Hobby shipping when you purchase for just like €9. What would that be in Canadian? Maybe 15 Canadian or something like that. You get free shipping. Like how? I can't understand how it's like if I want to ship something to Denmark, I can't give you free shipping for the same amount of money even. Like oh, yes, sure. Absolutely. Hit me up by email or something like that. If you ever want to do a trade, we can definitely look into that. That's definitely possible. Absolutely. I'm open to trade yarns. And I have plenty. So yeah, definitely open for trading yarns. But I'm really happy with my poncho. I can warmly recommend it for anyone that needs a good warm poncho. What is I do really have to, unfortunately, start looking at ending this stream. Because yeah, it's almost 5. Hobby is slowly getting off work. I need to clean up this mess I've made on the table. And I need to cook some dinner. And have a nice evening and chill a bit. It was absolutely awesome hanging out with you guys for the last 2 hours. It was wonderful to chat. Looking forward to be live with you again soon. Um, if I'll pop on this weekend, I can't guarantee because it kind of depends if or if not that goes through the great deal that my partner have. And else I'll be back next week in the afternoon, like I am here. Either maybe Tuesday, I'm not sure, but either Wednesday or Thursday, I'll pop on live and say hello to you guys. I'll be back tomorrow with a new Yarn Talk video, catching up on all my progresses and finished projects and new ideas and so on. And on Monday, I will have probably a yarn haul video for you guys. And that's it. Take care until I see you again. And stay healthy, stay safe, happy crafting, enjoy your time. And until I see you again. Bye.